We've been around now for 21 years. We grew out of an organization called the Heritage Ensemble.
And then in 1990, it got switched over to a not-for-profit theater company called American Folklore Theater.
In those early years, we were really just doing authentic folk songs rearranged in more of a complicated Broadway style.
Both Fred Heide and Fred Alley, who were co-founders of the theater company, were huge participants in writing for the theater. So the programming came out of the people who were integrally involved in it.
Fred, he had never really written a completely original show before. Most of the shows prior to that had been collected folk songs. So Fishing for the Moon was the first completely original show.
Which is a nice, it's set in Wisconsin post-Civil War. We had a show called Northern Lights, which is all about the stump land and farmers trying to settle Wisconsin. Was sent out here from the east, only to discover that the forest had been chopped down and there was no good farming. We had shows like Belgians in Heaven, which is what we call our metaphysical cheese curd polka musical. A show called Guys on Ice, of course, which is played all over the country. Some would consider it, Wisconsin's sort of favorite musical. So AFT shows have kind of a unique voice because they came out of the company figuring out who it was and wanting to write for itself and for its particular audience. We also have a mission of trying to make our theater affordable, because we really believe that because we write shows that are appropriate for people of all ages, that they should be able to afford to come see them.
The thing that was so special about AFT is the audiences. That Fred always prided himself on the fact that a huge percentage of the audience never saw any other theater. This was the only theater they went to. They were not theater people.
I think the other thing that defines us really solidly in the summer especially is this amphitheater. Being out here in this grove of pine trees and with the natural wood for a stage, it's an experience. And a lot of people talk about, we come to Door County in part to experience AFT and to be in the park and seeing the shows in the park.
There's something astonishing and magical to do these shows out there where you really don't know what's going to happen. Nature really becomes the director of the show, and every night is different. It's windy, or it's calm, or the stars are out, or it looks like it's going to rain, or whatever it might be. There's something about just allowing that in to your performance experience that somehow feels more authentic.
My writing partner, Dave Hudson, I had just met him, and we had heard of the tragic death of Fred Alley, the artistic director at AFT, who had been sort of the guiding light of the theater for a long, long time.
Interestingly, Dave Hudson had contacted Fred Alley before he died and sent him some writing samples. And Fred wrote him back a very gracious note saying, you show great promise, and please, submit stuff when you write it. Dave pitched some ideas to me. He had done good research. He sort of understood what AFT was, and he wanted to write something that was for our audience and for this space. And they're smart guys. They figured it out real fast.
We were the first team of outsiders that they had worked with in all the years of the theater. In the 20-some years they had been doing this.
They're part of the AFT family now, but in spades. They've done 5 world premieres for us here. Musky Love, Cabin with a View.
Cheeseheads, which was a huge hit in the last couple of years. Main Traveled Roads, which won the Richard Rodgers Award for Best American Musical.
And Bing the Cherry Musical. We had never done anything set in a cherry orchard before, or having to do with, having to do with cherries. So that was obviously a natural springboard into talking about adapting the cherry orchard. The setting of Door County is perfect for it.
There's a wonderful song in Bing this year called I Never Thought About You, in which the two lead characters talk about how they never thought about the other person, but of course by the end of the song we realize that they were completely obsessed with each other the whole time. And it's wonderful informing the audience of something that the characters themselves don't know.
Paul really knows how to write a hook, a memorable melody, and so all of his shows really have that quality. They're very infectious. We joke at AFT about how you can't get his songs out of your head. The crew goes home at night and they're singing in the shower.
People cotton to the idea of coming out here and seeing something that's not been done anywhere else before. I think that makes them feel like they're part of something that they can't be a part of anywhere else.
Bing, bing, bing.